Inflation fears have heightened with a sudden surge in global crude prices to over $114 per barrel, equivalent to about 14,200 shillings a barrel. The situation has been escalated by the ongoing war in the Middle East. NTV's Brian George now with that analysis.
First time in nearly 4 years, global crude prices have surpassed $100 per barrel mark to trade at $114 or about 14,200 shillings, going by the current exchange rate. The surge now threatens to affect the cost of living, as the estimates suggest a sustained price above $110 per barrel could necessitate an additional 15 billion shillings in monthly import expenditure for the country. Energy costs are the invisible hand steering the cost of living. As a net importer of refined petroleum products, the nation is structurally tethered to the international benchmark prices. In commuter transport, for instance, public service vehicle operators are already signaling potential fare hikes to offset the rising cost of diesel. The shilling is already navigating complex headwinds with a sustained surge in crude costs. As of last week, the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority (EPRA) stated that the government may fall back to the Petroleum Development Levy to stabilize fuel prices.
I think in terms of the applicability of the stabilization fund, that in the Petroleum Development Levy Act is at the purview of the Cabinet Secretary, who's the minister, as it's called in the law, and that it would be at his discretion to be able to apply those funds in consultation with the National Treasury. It's not something that the regulator does control. We as a regulator will compute the prices, advise the policymaker, and then the decision will be taken at that level.
The government now faces a difficult calibration between shielding the customer and maintaining fiscal discipline. While the government has historically attempted to manage pump prices through the Petroleum Development Levy and stabilization mechanisms, the current magnitude of the global surge limits the available fiscal space. For the larger East African market, the impact is twofold: the direct rise in imported fuel costs and the secondary impact of food prices. Agriculture is highly dependent on diesel for both production and transportation of goods from farm gate to the urban markets. As fuel prices rise, the cost of distribution scales upwards, exerting relentless upward pressure on the inflation index.
As the war in the Middle East rages on, Nairobi's focus should now shift towards stabilizing supply chains and prices as well. This is because it appears that the era of cheap energy may just have lapsed, and now economists have to work overtime to ensure that that global misnomer does not result in local shipwrecks. Brian George, NTV, Nairobi.